Hey, what's up, Crispy? I'm sorry I'm a minute late. It's really hot, and I'm just dying here. We're gonna start in about 60 seconds. What is 110 where I'm at? My main man, brother, RoboCop. I know. These were just gifted to me, so I figured I'd give them a shot. Although I think I didn't I wear them a couple weeks ago. I feel like I wore them a couple weeks ago. What's up, brother? We're gonna start here in 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Humid rainy? Yeah, well, it's humid. I do see, let's see, I am looking east. I see some giant storms east, but it's probably not going to hit me. I wouldn't expect. It never does. Urinal cake. That's a very tasty sounding name. I don't know. Is it tasty? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. We're going to start in 12 seconds. 12 seconds. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and fast forward to 90 seconds. Only you have to wait 8 seconds. So, I mean, why wait? There's nothing to wait for here. Whatever you want. And here we go. Welcome to Valley of the Suns Live, the weekly edition. My name is Adam Maines. I'm your host. I'm your site editor. I am a friend of the Sun. This is another rapid fire episode, and I say that because, as I didn't catch who it was, but what are we going to talk about? Whatever you want. You're right. This is the dead time of the year. There's not a whole lot going on. If you want to talk about, the trade of Jared Dudley again, that's cool. But other than that, nothing is happening. I do have one topic I'll open with, but go ahead and please, we're a minute in, or 30 seconds in, please go ahead and go heart, like, and retweet. Will I be going live during the Sun season? Absolutely 100%. I do this all year round. This isn't a Diamondback stream, but if you do want to DM me, I'll talk some D-backs baseball. Don't worry, I'm a homer. I mean, I am Suns 1, D-backs 2, although ASU, my love for my Devils is right up there. Then Cardinals and Yotes. And I'm a Coyotes fan, big Coyotes fan. Really anything Arizona related, I'll talk about. But DM me those because this is just all Suns. Any other moves the Suns are going to make? Yeah, I still believe the Suns are going to bring in a veteran point guard. I really do not think that Elie Okobo is going to make this roster. Good day, sir. Or ma'am. I really don't have any idea. I just see that it's a cafe. I just don't think that Elie Okobo is going to make the opening night roster. He'll be on the 15-man roster, but my gut is that he's going to be two-way. Sir, perfect. Good. Now I can call you by the right prefix. And then, I'm just as excited about Shaq Harrison to see what he can do, but I still think, he's no Nigel Knight. Like back in the early 90s when, Kevin Johnson would get hurt, which happened a lot, then most fans were pretty content with Nigel Knight. In fact, if I recall correctly, KJ missed like 30 games in 92, 93. Nigel Knight had to start about 30 games, and they still won 62. So, had KJ played, maybe they won 66, 67, who knows. But the point, though, is that he was a solid backup. I think that that Shaq Harrison is more of a fourth quarter Frank. I'm going to stick with that reference there. I think he's more of the third. I'll get you that in a second. I think he's more of the third point guard, kind of situational, and especially in blowouts if you're really just trying to rest your top guy. So I do think there will be one more move. I couldn't tell you who it's going to be because really there's nobody available, especially in free agency. That's the point. It's going to be through trade, in my opinion. And it could very well be again, I don't want to throw out any names because in all sincerity, I just have no clue. I mean, I could go through a list. Maybe I'll come up with one. Truthfully, that's a good post. I can come up with one. But I wouldn't be shocked if McDonough at some point pulls off kind of a Troy Daniels type trade for a veteran point guard and gets, sends out a second round pick. Although in his case, he actually acquired a second round pick with Troy Daniels. So the thing about that, though, is I wouldn't expect that kind of move to happen tomorrow. That is probably something that happens in October. That kind of a move, I think, will come when teams more tightly fit, understand what their roster is going to be. It's going to be more tightly shaped, and they know, yeah, this guy's just not going to make the cut. And it's like, perfect. He's a veteran. He's been around. He can play for 20 minutes and not going to kill us. He'll dish out 3 assists. That's all I need. So that'll be the move. Could a blockbuster thing happen? Of course. If somebody called today, insert star name here, potentially could be Patrick Beverley. Yes. In which case, they'd probably want maybe a first-round pick, in which I would assume the Suns would highly protect it. But, could something big happen? Sure. I mean, if for whatever reason Philadelphia called and said, Ben Simmons just urinated on center court. He really doesn't want to be here. You know, will you trade us Josh Jackson? I think, okay. So that kind of thing could happen. Unlikely, though. All right, so before I get to the Brandon Knight stats question, which I do have a prediction on, I will say in regards to Marquese Chris's defense, so I don't put any stock into his that like what game was that? It was some sort of a uniform street ball kind of thing, or some sort of charity thing. I put zero stock in that. In fact, today, and I watched none of it. Like, I had zero interest in it. He's a pro ball player playing with a bunch of scrubs and that kind of thing. He better have dominated. I can predict. So we want a Brandon Knight prediction, and then we want a team prediction. I'll give you that. In regards to his defense, he just needs better coaching. He certainly needs a better attitude, a better mentality on his game overall, without any doubt. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here. But it definitely needs better coaching defensively. Somebody needs to just stand with him, work with him day in and day out. This is when to slap for the ball. This is when not. This is when to put your hands up and just let the player make contact with you. And this is for when you need to make contact. And just teach him and train him the smart way to do it. I bet they do not sign a free agent next year. I'll bet they trade. I don't see any, but this is just me. I don't see any free agents out there that would make much sense unless the Suns changed their core philosophy a little bit, which to me it wouldn't make sense to change it. But back to Chris. So in regards to that, he just costs way too much. He'll be $19 million next year, Goran Dragic. Way too much. Or it's 18, I think, this year, and then 19 the following year on a player option. There's no way they want to pick that contract up. Could be Tobias Harris, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, maybe. It's Tobias, really. He's not like a star kind of acquisition. He's a nice player, but he's nothing that you build a team around, in my opinion. So I even saw a play from that Marquese Chris pickup game thing that, again, they were in uniforms, but that uniform pickup game where the ball went out of bounds and he picked up the ball to go down court. I guess the ball went out on him and the opponent stepped out of bounds and turned towards the court to pass the ball in. And I could just be totally misreading this, but Chris slammed it into his stomach. He didn't punch him, he didn't push him, but it was just he pushed it really hard in his stomach. And literally in that moment I went what was that? It was just such a weird kind of moment. So he's heady. He's heady, and by heady I just he's just emotional, and he just needs better coaching, and he needs to be able to peel that back. All right, so Brandon Knight, statistical prediction and team overall prediction, and that's a really specific. I really like that, dude. That's a very specific prediction in terms of Brandon Knight stats. So I'm going to be more broad in general. Essentially, so you said basically 14, 15 points, 5 assists, 5.2 I think you said, and then 3.7 rebounds. I'll say he scores a little bit more. I'll say he scores 16 to 17 points, but then I'll stick to 5 assists and 3 rebounds. I don't know if what I most want to see will be his 3-point shooting percentage, which, can I grab that real quick? I might be able to. Obviously this team has got to be better at 3-point shooting, and for his career, give me 1 second. He is, but I really love Lillard. Okay, I love Lillard, but that would have to come in a trade. So for his career, he's a 35.7% 3-point shooter. His last season, he shot 32.4, which was a career low. But his first full season here is 34, which is also kind of low. His rookie season, 38, then 36.7, then 32.5, then 38.9. So, I mean, he if he can shoot, and we're talking Brandon Knight here, if he can shoot 36, 37% from 3, which it's right above his career average, I think that would be fantastic. Because you're going to get 38 to 40% from Devin Booker. You're going to get 40+% from Troy Daniels. You're going to get hopefully 35% from Davin Reed. I don't know how many he's going to take, but hopefully whatever jitters he had last year in his rookie year shooting threes, those go away. Because look at his college 3-point shooting stats. I believe he shot 39% in 4 years. He didn't just take 12 threes and made 3 of them, or 4 of them, give or take that math. he shot about 39-40% from three in his 4 years at college at Miami. And the last year for whatever it was like 23%. So if he can get up to whatever, approximately what it was in the in college back in the pros, 35%, that's great. And if you've got a backcourt like Brandon Knight shooting 36-37, Devin Booker 38-40, Brandon Knight 40%, Devin Reed 35%, you're going to have that's some good 3-point shooting from your point guard and two guard position. Now the issue is, can small forwards shoot threes? TJ Warren shoots like 23%. Josh Jackson shoots like 23%. They can't get Luka. I wish, that would be awesome. But TJ Warren, Josh Jackson, total about what Troy Daniels shoots. So I mean, they've got to be able to shoot some threes better. From the 4 spot, you're going to get Trevor Ariza. Somebody asked how he's going to fit. I think he's going to fit just fine. Mikal Bridges, yeah, if they can get 33 to 35% from him, because he wasn't like an amazing 3-point shooter. He was above average, I would say. Where's my mouse? But my mouse is gone. Oh, I shut it off. Duh. So are we hanging on to Danielson thing? You know what? I would imagine that he is trade bait, especially come middle of the season, much like Tyson Chandler. And Mikal shot from 3. Oh, exactly 40%. Okay, so Mikal shot exactly 40% from his career. Last year he shot 43.5 on 239 attempts. So 43.5 would be freaking unreal. So again, Mikal's going to be your third small forward, your third shooting guard. I mean, he's going to be like 8th or 9th off the bench. So you might get 239 like you shot last year threes from him this rookie year, supposing that TJ Warren and Josh Jackson are both on the roster. By the way, I forgot, we are 12 and a half minutes in. Go ahead and please heart, please like, please retweet, please let everyone know. Today's going to be a little bit shorter because it's going to be rapid fire, because again, we don't have anything, breaking news to talk about. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm freaking hot. So, and I don't just mean, but so with Mikal shooting 40%, hopefully, I mean, like they've really potentially upgraded the 3-point shooting. Now, the key is 3 specific players, 3 very important rotational players. And that is Josh Jackson, who shoots like 23%, TJ Warren, who shoots like 22%, and I'm estimating it's around there, but it's below 25 both. And then Marquise Chris, who shot, I want to say 27% last year. So let's see if I can pull him up real quick. So I mean, those numbers have got to go up. Those averages have to go up to make them truly effective. Okay, so he shot just under, Marquise Chris, that is, shot just under 30% last year, 29.5%. Way too freaking low for somebody who attempted 200 3-pointers last year, 190 to be specific, but 200 3-pointers. Stop shooting threes. And I remember specifically, I want to say that Eddie Johnson, yes, I am going to pray to the NBA gods that Bender can average 10 plus points. But again, he's also going to average 36% from 3, which he shot last year. I even remember, I believe it was Eddie Johnson in games near the end of the season, just telling Marquise Chris during the broadcast, stop shooting. You're just not making them. Just drive. Use your body. Use your athleticism. But again, Chris is it's just not there yet. It's just not clicking. So, again, at least in the sense of the backcourt. And Eliakobo is a shooter, but he's more of a volume shooter than he is a percentage, an efficiency shooter at the moment. So any he plays, I mean, I would expect around 30% from 3 in his rookie year. And I would be shocked if he even attempted 33s, truthfully. I think he'll be much like Davon Reed was last year in regards to, how often he plays and when he plays and in what situations, that kind of thing. But regardless, overall, the backcourt should be much improved in terms of shooting. And not that it was terribly off, because, again, between Devin Booker's 38% and Troy Daniels' 40%, I mean, that's apologies. That's a hell of a very efficient shooting guard position from 3. So point guard will be improved 1,000%. I was hoping Eddie Johnson was going to be a coach, very smart guy. You know what? I don't want him to be a coach, because I love listening to him. Kev O'Connor has D-Book as Dark Horse MVP. Yeah, what stats would he have to do? I read that. Chris, he is a good player. He needs to focus. Totally agree. Well, I will agree that he needs to focus. I will agree from the perspective that he can be a good player. He needs to focus. I will not say that he is a good player right now because I don't know that he is. He hasn't shown it. He hasn't proved it. He's an average player. Now, for both he and Dragon Bender, as the National Weather Service for Phoenix, as Maricopa County has got a severe weather alert, but again, it looks pretty far. And Maricopa County is a giant county. He is only 21 years old. Dragon Bender is only 20 years old. So, as much as even I harp on them both, and they deserve it because they're professionals, they're still super young. And when they were both drafted, at least Dragon Bender in particular, they were 2 years away from being 2 years away. They're now 2 years in, which means hopefully within the next 2 years, they will improve. I would really love Booker to get Kobe as a mentor. I would freaking love that, but Kobe is just a diehard Laker. So, like, although I don't think Kobe would ignore a phone call for Booker, but he wouldn't come to Phoenix to work out, I doubt. He'd make Booker go to LA, which Booker, I want to say, like, lives there or spends a lot of time in LA in the off season, so they probably do meet. And I'm sure that if Booker texted or called, he would answer. All right, so we're talking MVP Book. What numbers would I have to put up? 26.1, 4.6, 5.0, 45 field goal, 39 from 3, 88%. I think those are all very good predictions. Would that win him an MVP? No. Might get him a couple third place, maybe, votes. Like 1 or 2. He might get a couple points. Where were they training? I'd be curious. If they were training in Boston, that would... I would be surprised, just because Kobe's like a lifelong diehard Laker. He was a Lakers fan as a child, so I mean, like he bleeds gold and purple. I kind of wanted to say that funny because of ASU maroon and gold. Bring back Steve Nash to help bring this all together. I would love that. He works for Golden State. He wants to live in San Francisco. I'd send Booker to wherever Kobe is. Yeah, that's true. And Stoudemire is now in the Big Three. So, so with those stats that were just referenced for Devin Booker, would they make him an MVP? No. What would make Devin Booker an MVP would be less the statistics and more the team's record. Honestly, they would have to probably win, and I'm not gonna lie, 50 games for Booker to get serious consideration for MVP with that stat line. And at that point, they'd have to be, honestly, the 4th or 5th best team in the Western Conference heading into the playoffs. I believe that would be the only way for Booker to get consideration for MVP. Bender asked for a trade, or are we just shopping him? Show me. I haven't seen it. If you can send it to me, I'm interested in that. You must have some kind. I do, but it's I buy cheap, so they tend to break a lot. So like they kind of shift. So then I buy a package and then they break and I move on. So becoming a superstar on a... Oh yeah, okay. He would become a superstar on... Yeah, I mean if Booker... Again, if the Suns win 55 points, excuse me. If the Suns win 55 games, Devin Booker puts up that stat line and plays, all but say 3 or 4 games, that'll put him at superstar status because they'll be a playoff team and they'll have some nationally televised playoff games. It'll be very interesting to have very minimal, but I would not be surprised, and I have a reason for that here, and I'll tell you in a second. It's very minimal. I don't know if it's 0, but I have a theory on this. A theory on why they could here in a moment. But for Booker to get recognized for MVP, he'd have to be in superstar status, and yes, they'd have to win like 55 games. I saw this the Phoenix Suns have engaged in trade talks with the former. Is that a headline? Can you tweet it to me? Tweet it to @Valley of the Suns. By the way, we are 20 minutes in. Go ahead and please heart, please like, please retweet. 20 minutes in. We're going to go for probably another 20 minutes. We'll go another 20 minutes, and then we'll cut it short. So, I mean, could I see him put up those stats this season? 100%. In fact, I actually predicted, if you guys read last week, that I believe Booker can and I predicted that he would break Tom Chambers' single-season scoring record of 27.2 points per game, I want to say, that he'll push near 30. And I think the reason why he can do that is because with that offense, he's going to be the primary ball handler, even with Brandon Knight on the court, and he's going to get the majority of the scoring. And with the team doing better, he's going to get more possessions, especially possessions in close games. And so his scoring average is going to go up. He's going to be a volume scorer, but if the team is winning or is in games no longer being blown out, it plays more into give the superstar the ball, and he's going to score a lot close. He's going to score 30 points more and more frequently. So that's why I do think it's possible. Well, and I was going to say, granted, I mean, it's a prediction. It was just kind of a fun one. But that being said, he did raise his scoring average to 24 last year from 22. Give me 1 second. 24.9 from 22.1. Why can't he do that a second time? And his shooting percentage barely went up from the field, 42.3 his sophomore year, second year, to 43.2. So it is volume scoring. Thanks, brother. I will definitely look that up afterwards. So can he put up 26 points? Yeah, again, I still think that if he's putting up 26, I think there's a good chance he's putting up 28, 29, 30. Those kinds of guys, they pop up in the NBA all the time. Volume scorers, guys that are efficient at getting to the rim. His effective field goal percentage, though, is 50%. I mean, that is not bad. I actually, for some context, the best shooter in the game is undeniably Steph Curry, and his effective shooting percentage is 60. For his career, 58 last year, 61. So I mean, it's not great. It's just not bad. Devin Booker's 50%, but still, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. My theory on the Suns playing on Christmas. Again, I think that agreed. I do think the odds are slim they play on Christmas. That said, they now play 4 Christmas Day games, and New York, being New York, basically always gets a Christmas Day game. I do see there being a chance where they make like the first game, and the first game is usually East Coast. It's usually like New York and Toronto. New York wears the green, Toronto wears the red. I am not worried Prime or P-Ball. I'm not worried P-Ball and JJ. I swear. I'll follow up on that in a second. So they usually put that as an East Coast game. I wouldn't expect the Suns to have a primetime game, but I could see them being placed as an interesting team, say Phoenix versus Philly. You've got the process versus the timeline. And so and with the number 1 overall pick in DeAndre Ayton versus the number 3 overall pick in, former number 3 overall pick, and then, or the number 1 overall pick versus number 1 overall pick in Ben Simmons plus Devin Booker. I mean, you've got a story that, plus you've got the Mikal Bridges going back to Philly, potentially making it in Philly, that kind of thing. I think that is a compelling storyline for the second Christmas Day game, and I could see them going that direction. Who do I expect to play on Christmas Day? For sure, prime time will be LA versus, I'm talking Lakers versus Warriors. Prime time. Houston's probably playing, and if it's not San Antonio versus Toronto, I could see it being Houston versus Toronto. I could see San Antonio definitely being there. So I mean, if maybe they play 4 or 5 games, Phoenix versus Knicks in New York, I might be over there for Christmas. That would be awesome. But usually that morning game is East Coast. It's usually an East Coast game, and then they kind of move it west. DeAndre Ayton predictions. All right, 18.4, 10.2, 2.6, 1.5, 57% from the field. Someone said, I'll tell you what. I predicted that DeAndre Ayton will average a double-double. That would be Rookie of the Year material, and that would be scary good. So, I'll tell you what. If Ayton is putting up that stat line, and Booker is putting up the other stat line that you predicted, then they're winning games. I hate to really say how many, because I wanted to win 55. I wanted to win 82. But I could see them at that point definitely being in the hunt for 500. Going 41-41 for sure. That's almost... No. Shaq was much better. That's almost Karl Anthony Towns numbers. I'll pull up Shaq real quick. Shaq's rookie numbers were 23.4, 13.9, and 3.5 blocks while shooting 56% from the field. Shaq's stats were unbelievable his rookie year. I feel like Ayton has a chance to be an all-star, but that's only if the fans vote him in. Yes. Okay, I can tell you pennies in a second, but again, Shaq's rookie numbers were 23.4 points, 13.9 rebounds, which was his career high, 3.5 blocks, which was also his career high, and then he shot 56.2 from the field. His sophomore year, it was 29.3 and 13.2. Give me a second to get Karl Anthony Towns, just because he is a little bit closer to Shaq and Penny did not debut together. Shaq was 92-93, Penny was 93-94. Karl Anthony Towns, rookie, was 18.3, 10.5, and then 1.7 blocks and 2.0 assists. So you, sir, I didn't catch anywhere. I mean, I recognize you, but I didn't catch your name. Sorry. Though what you predicted was essentially Karl Anthony Towns, and Towns won the Rookie of the Year. So if DeAndre Ayton can put up those numbers, plus Devin Booker puts up his 26 to 30 points and 6 boards and 5 assists, or vice versa, this team is winning some games. Presuming health. And then somebody asked for Penny Hardaway. Penny's rookie year, which was the second year of Shaq's career, was 16 points on the dot, 6.6 dimes, 5.4 assists, shot 46.6% from the field, 26.7% from three, although his threes got better his whole career. His field goal percentage was better the next 3 years, and his scoring got better the next 3 years. His assists got better the next year. So, I mean, but still, 16 points, 5.4 boards, 6.6 dimes. Those are Penny stats. Those are also very similar to Ben Simmons. While we are back on the topic of him, the third time he's been mentioned. 15.8 points, 8.2 dimes, 8.1 boards, 1.7 steals, 54.5% from the field, but a flat 0% from three. Did he make a three last year? He was I knew he was a horrible outside shooter. He attempted 11 threes, Ben Simmons, in 81 games. Ben Simmons, a point guard, point four, whatever you want to call him, attempted 11 threes. That is, wow. I did not realize it was so few. We're about 28 minutes in. We're going to go another 12. Go ahead and please like, please retweet. Today is a rapid fire episode. What else do you want to talk about? We're going another 12 minutes. Did I say I was going to talk about something else and then am spacing on it? His shot is awful and I'm an Aussie. Hey, you can say, hey, I'll tell you, an American's shot is awful, and if it's awful, it's awful. And his shot is apparently awful. Although, think about this, he still shot 54.5% from the field. I mean, that's ridiculous. Simmons actually doesn't even shoot outside the paint. Yeah, well, of course not. He shot 11%. Let me see something real quick. By distance, he shot I don't understand. Percent of field goals are... Oh, jeez. 98.9% of his field goal attempts were for two. Do I think Brandon Knight's going to help us? Oh, yeah. Brandon Knight is going to be a tremendous upgrade over last year's point guards, which is why I have faith this team is going to do better. Remember who the point guards were last year. Shaq Harrison started. Well, no, Shaq didn't start in the games. But I mean, after game 3, because obviously Brandon Knight or Eric Bledsoe said, I didn't want to be here 3 games in. They went with 8 other point guards, none of whom can carry Brandon Knight's water. And Brandon Knight's not great. Brandon Knight's not bad, but Brandon Knight's not great. With Josh Gray, yes. Oh, I know. I wrote a post about it that I've tagged multiple times, recapping how horrible the point guard... okay, I'll take this back. Of the 9 total... Eric Bledsoe is better than Brandon Knight, although I don't think he's that much better. I think Eric Bledsoe is tremendously overrated. And then Devin Booker is a better point guard, probably. And Devin Booker did play like 11 games, or 9 or something. Can you say I don't want to be here like him again? How did I say it? I don't remember. It was just spur of the moment. And there's no way you could text me the inflection I used. I mean, he's kind of soft-spoken with a little Southern accent, isn't he? So, I mean, he can be like, I don't want to be here. How about that? Is that okay? I'll be honest. I met him once. I'm like a good 4 or 5 inches taller than him. There's not a chance in hell he's 6'1". I'm 6'3". In shoes, I'm a hair over 6'3". He is not. What was he last said? 6 foot or 6'1"? Hold on. Bledsoe. They have him listed 6'1". You were going to talk about JJ not dropping. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So here's the thing. I don't put any stock in Joe Johnson, excuse me, in Josh Jackson's mediocre to poor summer league, and the reason is it's very unstructured. It's super loosely structured. He's barely getting into getting understanding of Igor's offense. He is not playing with top talent. I know that the Suns had the best talent in the summer league, but he was not playing with the best talent. He didn't have a freaking point guard. I mean, Shaq Harrison is great, but he's, again, why I think Shaq Harrison is a very good, or I believe that on the big club, the Phoenix Suns' roster, Shaq Harrison is a third string point guard, and that was the best point guard that he had. Elie Okobo is the fourth string. He's a D-leaguer. So Josh Jackson was taking it upon himself to play offense, and that's it. And that was all he was doing. He was just taking it upon himself, and I'm just going to get my points, and it's just go with the flow. There was no flow to the offense, so he looked bad because there was nothing really for him to do. Remember, DeAndre Ayton should have dominated that summer league, and if he had a point guard that could get him the damn ball in the post in the right spot, even though his post positioning and his post stance positioning was poor, if he had just got the ball in the right spot and at the right moment, he could have used his athleticism to get around and bang around like Shaq would have. He didn't have that. He didn't have a point guard that could get him. I don't know how many times somebody, including Shaq Harrison, I don't know how many times I saw somebody trying to get the ball to Ayton and it sailed over his head on a fast break. And it's just like, yeah, that won't happen in a game because Brandon Knight, Devin Booker, those guys can get Ayton. Josh Jackson even can get Ayton the ball in the post. So Josh Jackson looking bad, in my mind, it does not slip him in the depth chart at all. That's presuming that he was walking into this. That's true. That's for the most part true, as I recall. I am working under the presumption that Josh Jackson is going to be starting small forward for two reasons. First off, he's a better defender than T.J. Warren, and they're not going to need him to be a primary scorer because you're going to have Devin Booker, you're going to have Brandon Knight, both, shooting guards, and you're going to have DeAndre Ayton. And you're going to have Trevor Ariza who's going to shoot a ton of threes and make them. I mean, he's a very efficient three-point shooter. So you don't necessarily need more scoring. You need to now be able to balance your starting rotation with your bench rotation. So having Josh Jackson on the court to start a game will allow him to focus more on defense, and then the offense will come to him. He won't ever have to, hopefully, really... I just, in terms of big names, I don't have any because I don't believe there are any. I believe the Suns' big acquisition next summer is going to come and trade. So Josh Jackson won't have to be, hopefully, a primary focus on offense. If the game comes from him, he can easily, this season, be a first, second-year Sean Marion type player. As in Sean Marion's rookie to second-year scoring percentages and having the game come to him in that sense. Now, Josh Jackson's got to shoot better threes. He was a horrible three-point shooter last year, but so is Sean Marion his rookie year. Sean Marion's three-point shooting 3 years before Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash got there. Marion's three-point shooting spiked his second year. I believe it went up from like 23 to 33%, or 18 to 33%, something like that. Hold on. I can tell you in 1 second. 18 to 25, and then 25 to 39. But again, 4 years before Steve Nash. So that's why I think Josh Jackson starts. Why I think Warren comes off the bench is the Suns will be able, with T.J. Warren coming off the bench and Mikal Bridges coming off the bench, and hopefully Marquise Chris and or Dragon Bender they will come off the bench, but hopefully scoring better. They will have a much more potent bench option with T.J. Warren. And so that helps twofold. Starting lineup, you can put Josh Jackson on the primary, make him the primary defender on the opposition's best player. Let the offense come to him versus him trying to force it. Boom, takes a lot of pressure off of him offensively. The team is better for having Josh Jackson lock down or attempt to lock down the best player. Then coming off the bench, boom, you've got T.J. Warren, not quite the best scorer, or not quite the best defensive player, but he won't have to guard the best, a really good small forward because he's going to be guarding the reserves. But his scoring will then be very efficient, as he is an efficient 2-point, field goal player. And so that will make the team better. Will it raise them very high? I don't know, but it's going to raise them. I root for Marquise this year. I think he's dropped down the talent roster for us. I worry for him too. I don't know where he is on the depth chart. Does he start the season ahead of or behind Dragan Bender? I really, 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 really hope that the Suns are working with Dragan Bender this offseason on getting, he did not look improved at all in the summer league. Dragan Bender, that is. He looked exactly the same, tentative, bad offensive decision making, flat 3-point shot. I mean, it was now they might have given him the entire summer off and said, dude, clear your head, go to the Bahamas, go on vacation. I don't know what he did, but go on vacation, really don't worry about basketball. As soon as summer league is done, we're going to put the focus on up in your game. We've got Igor. No, I hope not for either Marquise or Dragan. I hope not. And hopefully they said we're going to put the focus on up in your game after the summer league. So I saw Bender and Old Town and went, oh, nice. Josh Jackson stats. I would love those stats. I would love those stats from Josh Jackson. Love that, especially the 32% from three. Bender isn't comfortable in going against big men players. Explode by Yeah, well, did I get a comment? I might have got a comment on YouTube when I was reading the Periscope and missed the YouTube. If you send a comment on YouTube, I'll be sure to peer over right now so you can, if you can send it again, I'll read it. So I just hope that they work with. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I just hope that they work with Dragan Bender's arch, get that shooting form fixed. It's not that it's awful. It's just that it's rushed, it's clunky, and it's fast. It's too fast and too forced, and so it's flat. And so it's if you can get that arch. And remember, last year he shot 36% from three. Let me triple check. 36.6% from three, and that's on 322 attempts. So that is not bad. 36.6% from three on 32 attempts. 322 attempts, excuse me. So I mean, if he can, that's closer to 37%. If he can do that again, but now this year attempt 500 threes, that would be awesome. Dragon will be Igor's project. Chris, not so much. Well, hopefully they both are. But yeah, I mean, I would expect there to be, for lack of a better term, and I really do hate this term actually, based on its prior Phoenix Suns usage, but I do hope that there is a synergy between Igor and Dragan, both being Eastern Bloc Europeans, that that there's just some sort of connection, a relationship, and that for whatever reason Igor is able to reach Dragan on a level that say Jay Triano couldn't last year. Although, I mean, think about it, Dragan played all 82 games. He started 37. He upped his scoring. He upped his minutes. Let me check per 36. Per 36 stayed the same. Scoring, rebounds basically stayed the same. Assists not nearly doubled, but went up. His turnovers went down. So I mean, Jay Triano helped him. Is Igor a shooting coach? Igor is basically just kind of an offensive and defensive savant. Coaching savant. I really want Goran Dragic to come back. I think it would be perfect. I think Goran would be the perfect veteran point guard for this team. He's a player for Igor on the Croatian national team, former Sun. He seems to have mended the fence with Phoenix last summer or last regular season. Here's why he won't come back. Because this season his contract is $18 million. Next season is a player option. So he's under contract through 18-19. Next season is a player option for $19 million, and I will have it in 3-2-1. Yeah, $19.2 million. He's going to pick that up, meaning that next offseason, the 2019 offseason, when the Suns want money to spend on either a free agent or make a big splashy trade for a superstar who's already on a big contract, they won't have the cap space because they'll be paying a 33-year-old Goran Dragic backup point guard on the back end of his career. If he promised and like said, my word is my being, I will not pick up that $19 million contract, then I would absolutely make that trade and then get him off the books after the season. But there's not a chance in hell because he might not be able to sign a contract for $19 million total after this coming, after this coming season. So I would love Goran back. I think he would be the absolutely perfect backup point guard here, and not only backup, but backup slash starting point guard in case of injury for Brandon Knight. But he would never turn down that $19 million player option, and therefore the Suns will never make that trade. They're not going to ruin their cap space for a 33-year-old over-the-hill backup, point guard. I wish, again, if he like made a public pronouncement, I want to be traded to Phoenix, or I want to be traded, and I will waive my... And as far as I know, they could make it... I think they could kind of renegotiate the contract where, like upon trade, his contract is amended to waive the player. I think there's something like that. But if not, they can't make that trade. It just doesn't make any logical sense. You cannot waste that offseason, the 2019 offseason, where they have set up... All of their moves have set them up to have money next offseason. They can't blow it on him. If we got Goran, he would most definitely have to start. Was an all-star in the East last year. He was an all-star. He was an all-star as like a third alternate, though. And 17.3 points it's not bad, but 4.8 assists was his lowest in 7 years. I mean, it's dropping. So, I mean, it's, again, would I like him? Of course. I'm not trying to bash him. If he only had 1 year left, I would have traded for him already and just taken his contract. But if we got Goran, he would most definitely have... Oh, that's the repeat. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to go another 2.5 minutes. Go ahead and please heart, please like, please retweet. We'll get out of here in 2.5 minutes. Do you have any more rapid fire questions? Let me see if I push this button over here on YouTube. If I see... here we go. Okay, sorry. I need to have that fixed. Hello from Texas. Okay, so Sean on YouTube asked... Nope, well, come back. Oh, fudge. That disappeared awfully quick. Sean asked, do I think Ayton will be much more aggressive in the regular season than he showed in Summer League? 100%. Is this the make or break season for both Chris and Bender? Okay, I think I read that. So, do I think that Ayton is going to be more aggressive? Absolutely, because he's going to be playing with much better talent. Think about it. He's going to have Devin Booker on the court with him. He didn't have Devin Booker. He's going to have T.J. Warren on the court with him. He didn't have T.J. Warren. He's going to have Brandon Knight on the court, which means he's going to have an actual, legitimate point guard. So, he's going to play a lot better. I was all for, the more I thought about it, and I did talk about this a few weeks ago, I was all for him being tentative because I was all for him leaving Las Vegas healthy. Would I have loved for the Summer Suns to win that title? Yes. Is it meaningless? Yeah. I mean, it would have been exciting because it's like, hey, that means we're finally on the rise. Like, truly, this is the time to rise because we just won the Summer League title with a lot of NBA talent. That would have been great. But it would have sucked if they had won that. But because Ayton was playing too hard, he sprains an ankle or he tears something, he left healthy. Everybody left healthy, and in the end, that's all that matters because the only games that count are the games that go on the back of basketball cards, and those don't start till the end of October. So I guarantee he'll be more aggressive. He's going to look a lot better come regular season because those stats count. Those games matter. More people will be watching. He'll be playing with the real team, yada, yada, yada. Is this a make or break year for Marquise Chris and Dragon Bender? Potentially, yes, as players on the Phoenix Suns. I would not say for their careers yet. I would say that'll come in year 6 or 7. They'll both get another contract, in my opinion, because some team somewhere is going to be like, hey, they're still only 22, 23. We can rehabilitate them. We can build them. Plenty of guys in the NBA have not hit their stride until 26, 27. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of one in particular. Think. Hold on. Oops. What did I touch? Shoot. Who am I thinking of? Bro, who am I thinking of? Jimmy Butler. There we go. Jimmy Butler. He averaged 20 points at the age of 25. His first 3 years in the NBA, 2.6 points. Remember that. his rookie year, Jimmy Butler, superstar Jimmy Butler, averaged 2.6 points his rookie year, then 8.6 points his sophomore year, then 13.1 his third year. At that point, he was 24. And then finally in his fourth year in Chicago, 20 points, then 20.9, then 23.9. So, I mean, it took him until he was 25. So, you know, Dragan Bender, Marquise Chris, is it make or break for them this year for the Phoenix Suns? Potentially. But think about this. They're both under contract for 4 years. So the Suns do not have to trade them. Could they be included in a trade package for a number of reasons? Roster, you know, needing to open up a roster spot, needing to match salaries, maybe another, you know, to trade for Damian Lillard. Portland says you are giving us freaking Marquise Chris, so this, you know, trade will never go through. Fine, see ya. You know, maybe that kind of thing happens. But they don't have to be traded because they're under contract for a fourth year. And what happens if in that fourth year, like Jimmy Butler, one of them averages 20 points a game, you know? So it's definitely, it's potentially make or break for them with Phoenix. I'll just repeat that, but not necessarily for their careers. So anyway, I do appreciate it. I love you all. I'll be back at 6 p.m. AZ next Monday. I certainly, if I'm not for whatever reason, I'll let you know. But I can't wait to watch this upcoming NBA season. Very interesting things happen. Oh, yeah. I mean, not only just for Phoenix. I would love D'Angelo Russell, trust me. But, I mean, LeBron in LA, I mean, he's got nobody else. They're still going to win 50 games, but, you know, they got nobody else. I mean, you know, Lonzo, you know. Golden State, of course, is going to be interesting. Obviously, San Antonio, Toronto are going to be interesting. OKC will be interesting again, I guess. But now, you know, that we just know for sure that Paul George is staying there. You know, let's see what they do. Minnesota and potentially imploding. Where does Jimmy Butler get traded? There's a lot of interesting things. How's your drawing? Is that me? Oh, that's Aiton. Yeah, it's super, super tiny, but dude, that is good. You are a much, much better artist than I am. Anyway, so I'm out of here. I'll be back 1 week from today at 6 p.m. ASE. I got nothing else. I love you all. You're the best. Did this for you. I'll see you in a week. Let's go Suns. Peace.